Me and Aaron met in a drunk
Oh yeah.
pod. That's gone.
Drunken bar.
Is it gone?
Yeah, their entire show's like gone. They deleted everything. I have no idea what happened to them.
Yeah. I don't remember anything about that. I remember like it was really, really hot. It was a really, really hot summer day. We were doing something. I was hot and sweaty and exhausted, and I was bringing in the groceries. And then I was just like, "Hey, my favorite game's Final Fantasy IX," and they were like, "Why do you like that game so much?" And then I was like, "Okay, I gotta go."
No questions, please.
What it do, listeners? My name is Aaron. Ted Nugent might be my father, and you're listening to Super Pod Saga. That's right. Welcome back. Have a seat.
Son.
Yeah. Have you ever seen... Oh, so my stepdad... We're already going off topic right at the beginning of the show. I don't give a fuck.
Hell
My
yeah.
stepdad lives and dies by the Outdoor Channel, and he used to always watch this Ted Nugent hunting show, because Ted Nugent loves hunting, bro. Like,
yeah, he does.
He's got this gigantic cabin, stuffed animals all over the place, like stuffed, like killed animals, not like teddy bears and shit. But
yeah, how many underage girls in that house?
dude, probably way too many to count. Anyway, yeah, take your shoes off, stay wild. It's Super Pod Saga. This is the podcast where each week we discuss different video game topic with different guests. The guests choose the topic, and eventually we'll run out of things to say, and in the show, just cut it. We'll delete it like that Drunk Gamers podcast thing that Bill and I met on. But today's not that day. We actually got a good topic today. Got good guests. Before we get to that, though. Listeners, if you enjoy the show, please, for the love of God, leave a rating or review on Spotify or whatever app you listen on. If you really, really enjoy the show, come visit SuperPod Network. Maybe check out all the GNC shows, Fine Time, Remember 64, all those shows. Then if you really, really enjoy the show, Patreon. Support us on Patreon, $2 or $4 a month. Get all sorts of cool shit. Enough of that, though. Let's introduce the guests. Hello, Bill and Thrak from the 3DO podcast and all of Bill's other stuff. Geek Addicts and GNC. Yeah. Hello.
Send help.
Hi, Aaron.
Yes.
You can't get rid of us. Can't get rid of me.
Nope. I'm not even gonna try, man.
Did we record last week? Was it last week when we did the thing?
With
yeah.
Dre. Yeah.
With Dre. Yeah.
What the fuck happened last week? I think, was it the guests bailed? I don't know what happened last week. I forget.
Yeah, you said the guest bailed and Jerry was sick again.
Yeah.
Or some
That's
shit.
right.
Yeah, he's a coward. He keeps ducking me.
Because you're trying to talk shit about Goemon and Mega Man, all the things he holds dear.
I don't have enough to say about Goemon, but I do have words to say about Mega Man today. Because what is our topic? What, the worst sequels?
That's right. Yeah, we're talking about the worst sequels today. And what I mean by sequel, hopefully you guys... hopefully this counts for all your picks too. By sequels, I mean like direct sequels.
Yes. So you're thinking like not like say Final Fantasy 7 to 8, more like Final Fantasy 10 to Final Fantasy 10-2.
Yeah. But you know what? If your picks don't fall into line with that, fuck it. We'll do them anyway. This is my show, goddammit. I make the rules. Fellas, go ahead and take turns introducing yourselves and your show. Plug any socials, anything like that. And tell us all about your favorites. Tell us about your favorite milkshake, like the best milkshake you ever had.
Ooh.
Is it bad that I can't remember the last time I had a milkshake?
You can save it for last.
He's trying to be he's trying to be the healthy one.
Yeah, we'll just do your favorite dessert. Like you're on death row. They're like, pick a dessert before we fucking kill you. Yeah.
You want to go first, Thrak? Or
Yeah, I got it. So my favorite dessert is it's a homemade brownie with some like vanilla ice cream, some chocolate syrup, and like some whipped cream on top. So that was my favorite. In fact, when I started my new job, it was like my birthday was like a couple weeks later, and then like so for my birthday they gave me a bunch of snacks, and actually one of them cooked like a whole tray of brownies for me. So we eventually cut those up and did those little brownie sundaes, and whew, that's some good shit. You know,
That is good
I'd like
shit.
that. I would like that in my tummy before they blow my brains out. That sounds really good to me. But yes, I am Thrak.
Firing squad.
I request the firing squad. Okay,
Put that needle down.
Shoot me. God damn it. They all get a bullet, no blanks.
So they all feel terrible.
Exactly. But anyways, yes, I am Thrak, co-host of the 3DO Experience with my buddy Bill here. It's us exploring the world of the niche 90s console, the 3DO. So it's been a lot of fun. I also stream every week on Twitch, slowly working my way through the Sega Genesis library. That's at twitch.tv/Thrak94. The VODs are on my YouTube channel, also at Thrak94. And yeah, that's about what I do. And I also guest all over the SuperPod network. I whore myself out to any podcast that'll have me. So you're next, Elder Trolls. You're next.
I still haven't even been on there yet.
Never talked to them.
They're awesome dudes. I've never been on their show though. I've had them on multiple times, but yeah, they're fun.
Oh, I assume if they're on this network, they're cool.
Yeah. Bill, go ahead and plug your socials and stuff.
All right, desserts.
You can do your socials first if you want. Like, you can buy yourself some time and like jot down notes on your hand or something.
Bill's like, "What's a dessert?"
So
I only eat meat.
That's a carnivore's dessert.
So I'm the other half of the 3DO Experience, the wonderful the only active 3DO podcast out there right now.
Hell
I'm also
yeah,
on I'm also the main host on Gaming Collecting. It's a podcast to do with my sister Alex. We talk gaming and anime. It's generally nonsense all the time, but that's kind of its charm. And I'm also on Geek Addicts with my buddy Matt, where we just try to talk about anything pop culture. It's they're all pretty interesting. They're all very laid back because I don't edit for shit. Unless Alex burps during a podcast, and then I will edit it out, but I will let everybody know it happened.
I feel like that's worse.
This bitch.
Oh no, she makes me edit it out. She's always like, edit it out. I'm like, oh fine, I will edit it out, but I will make everyone very aware it happened.
Instead of editing it out, you should try to like censor it, but with a much louder, like more vulgar burp.
Well, I always told her I'd like replace it with like a comical fart noise, but she's like, no, don't do that. I was gonna try auto-tuning it next time it happens. Like some weird shit.
That'd be
No,
cool,
like you should put in like whenever like Hank Hill goes like whoa,
or just do like a dumb like Tim Allen noise or something.
Oh yeah.
That'd be great.
I was thinking about doing that, or either like just like reversing it, like so it plays in reverse and it just makes it sound
please.
fucked up.
Oh, she's like sucking the burp in.
I think.
Thank God she doesn't listen to this because she's gonna be fucking raging.
I think for the next episode,
These are all brilliant ideas. God damn it!
I know.
For the next like ad break transition, it's just gonna be like Tim Allen grunts and other sounds, but like reversed. I'm stealing that idea. That's good.
Well, make sure you put in the Home Improvement theme song because that theme song kind of slaps.
It does.
I think I've done that for an episode.
That whole show kind of slapped. But
I think I've done that.
I grew
I'll do
up
it
on
again.
that show, so I know a lot of the Home Improvement lore.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
You can find all of our links at superpodnetwork.com along with that linktree/Thebarberwhogames if you want the direct links. We have a YouTube channel where we post video versions of all the podcasts so you can see our lovely faces, and some of the screen caps are wonderful. But
that they are.
But other than that, my favorite dessert, I am a big fan of coffee toffee ice cream.
Ooh,
Good
I did
pick.
not know that about you. That's cool, man. Yeah.
It's like one of the few things I will still eat every now and then as a treat.
Are you a big fan of sweets, Bill, or are you more of like a savory guy?
I enjoy them, but my body does not because my metabolism
yep.
is shit. So I kind of have to watch what I eat. So
I think I'm a really big fan of a good tiramisu. But those brownie sundaes, boy. Any day of the week, good brownie. You get a hot brownie sundae, or
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like my favorite pie. You like pie? Pumpkin pie. Can't
I
go
like
on.
a
I could
good.
eat
I like a good I like a good cherry pie.
Cherry's good. Oh,
Pecan's
Peach.
good if you want to have a heart attack.
Peach pie is good. I can
Pecan is
even
good.
fuck with a good key lime pie. I can fuck
Oh,
with key
that's
lime
good.
pie. Yeah.
That's it. Key lime pie. I really love key lime pie.
See,
Boom. That's it, editor.
That's my weird hot take. I'm not big on pumpkin pie.
I think
That's
no,
fine.
my
I'm a big
wife is
fan of
just
it.
like that too. Cheyenne only likes
I'm not
chocolate
big on
pies.
apple pie.
Apple pie, it has to be homemade. Like
Yeah.
store bought apple pie is just not great. But if like somebody home makes it, like that shit slaps.
I'm not generally a picky eater, but like that's one of the few things that I'm not like big on. Is I'm not big into baked like fruits in like baked goods. That I just for whatever reason it's weird to me.
I think Dre, Fine Time Dre, shout out to him. He's the same way too. I'm pretty sure he doesn't like cooked fruit. I think, unless I'm thinking of somebody else.
It's weird.
Yeah,
Something about the texture.
No, I think
about
you're
it just
right.
bothers me.
Again, if
feel
it's
that.
like if they're using like the store bought can filling, it usually never works. But like if somebody like cuts up like apples and does it properly, I'm more into it. You know.
Do you remember the
Hell yeah.
McDonald's apple pies that we used to be able to get that were like just sugar sticks, basically?
dude,
Oh,
the
yeah.
deep fried ones.
I mean, I used to work.
Holy shit!
I used to work at a McDonald's, so I remember like making those things.
Apparently, overseas you can still get them because the overseas doesn't give a shit about all that FDA shit.
Oh yeah.
They
Like I worked at McDonald's when we had the McRib, so I remember making the McRib. And goddamn, the smell of that barbecue sauce will never leave my scent. That was awful. Because like those trays where they keep all like the patties and the nuggets in for the McRib, we had one of those trays and it was just full of the barbecue sauce.
Oh my
And
god,
so we would
dude.
just cook. Yeah, so we would just cook like the pork patties. I'm using pork and
Pork
patty in heavy
patties.
quotes, and
Rat
then just like
patties.
throw and then basically, and then just throw them in there and kind of just smother them, and then they would just sit there. Awful, disgusting.
I have such a weird love-hate relationship with the McRib. Like when it's out, I'll need one like ASAP, and then it'll be good all the way up until it hits my mouth, and then once I take a bite, I'm like, this is really messy and like way too tangy.
Yeah.
And why the fuck are there
sauce
whole
is, like,
onions?
awful.
Yeah, the barbecue sauce is fucking gross. Speaking of sauce, let's get to that topic.
It's a saucy topic.
Saucy topic. Yeah, let's get to it. The worst sequels. Which one of you fellas wants to kick us off?
I know you got one, Bill.
So this was an interesting topic because I'm like, when you think about like sequels, it is like such a weirdly like divisive like opinions on a lot of these things.
Yeah.
I was kind of looking around, and one that kind of sticks to mind immediately, just because like I remember this game being super hyped when it first got announced, and then it came out. It ended up being quite possibly one of the most like split games I've ever seen. Resident Evil 6.
Oh
yes.
Yep.
Like, I remember when the demo for this game came out, and like everyone played Leon's story, and they were like, "Oh my god, Resident Evil's finally back!" They remembered what horror was, and then everyone played Chris's demo. And then they went, never mind, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's worse than 5. Which that being said, 5's a good game. It's just a very action-heavy game.
5 is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's not a good horror game, but it's a fun game.
Yeah, we were talking about Chris from Novel Console. Shout out to him. Me and him, we co-opted RE5. So if you go through the archives, you can watch me and him, listen to me and him talk about it because he made me co-op that game. But I'm glad we did because it was quite like I couldn't do that game single player. Like it's kind of dog shit if it's single player. You need a friend to kind of make it worth it.
You have to play single player. You have to give like Sheva the sniper rifle and just tell her to go in the corner so she doesn't waste your ammo the entire time.
Yeah, and they made Sheva for some reason like lefty. So if you are Sheva like I was, you had to learn the game like lefty controls, which was like why, which seemed like a really dumb mistake on their part, but you get used to it.
Yeah, going down to 6 though, like 6 was such a 6 is like the literal definition of they took every idea they had, threw it at the wall, and then they didn't care what stuck. They just kept it all anyways.
Yep.
Because like you got Leon's story, which is like the most Resident Evil out of all of them, and even then it's still not amazing. You have Chris's story, which is like Resident Evil 5 without the fun aspect of it. Then you have Mr. McFanfic, the Wesker Jr., whatever his name was.
Mr. McFanfic.
I mean, it was like Wesker's son that we'd never heard of. Like that is just like fan fiction bait right there. He was just weird and boring to play. And then I think you'd also play as Ada, and her stuff was kind of interesting, but it was also kind of not good. But yeah, like 6 is just kind of one of those games where it's like a hot mess all around it. It just ends up not being a fun game.
So my story with Resident Evil 6 is I bought it for like $5 at GameStop because that's when I was borrowing my friend's PS3, and I played a bunch of games on PS3 to like catch up, like all the Uncharted's and all that stuff, right? And I saw RE6 and I was like, oh, I wanted to give this a shot, right? So it was like $5. I went ahead and bought it. I played it for 2 hours and then just returned it that same day because I hated it. Like it just didn't feel right. Like the controls were just wrong, and like everything was so over the top, like bonkers batshit. I was just like confused.
Do you agree? Do you agree with my sentiment that Wesker Jr. is just Mr. McFanfic?
Yeah, basically. And yeah, it just like the game just didn't click with me because like I hadn't really played 5 at that point, so I was going from 4 to 6, and so
yeah, you missed.
So
you
so it wasn't a good transition. Yeah, basically. So I mean, you know, our friend of the network, Jala-chan, like she's big into RE6. So you know, if she was willing to carry me one of these days, that would be fun. But I'm not going to force her to do that again. So it might be one of those games. Eventually, I'll play it. Maybe Novel Console Chris. Maybe we'll co-op it, and he'll force me to play that one. But who knows? So other than that, I just have like the 2, maybe 3 hours of time in it, and returned it that same day because I was like, fuck this. I didn't like it at all.
I remember I pre-ordered the game from GameStop way back in the day when it was first coming out, and I remember co-oping through it with a friend, and it was cool for a little bit. Like, yeah, the Leon part, or Leon and what's her name? What's the lady's name that he's with? It's like Sherry,
Helena, I think.
Helena, that's right. Yeah, their part was cool. Chris and like, the other guy, Piers, that was very frustrating. But then you get to Jake, and holy shit, I loved Jake's combat because he's just fist blasting monsters away, doing cool like martial arts moves and shit. That was pretty cool.
See, my problem with Jake was I just thought he was so like this. It just didn't feel like Resident Evil.
Yeah, definitely. there wasn't a lot of holy shit. There wasn't any survival horror at all. It was just like you're just this unkillable god.
Yeah, it was a pure action fantasy, which I kind of get why they were trying to do that, but people were begging for like a Resident Evil 7 when we got 6.
I think the thing that really soured a lot of people was like Leon's story was so close, and then it was like everything after just was like they completely like lost the plot.
It started off pretty fucking strong, and then not even like halfway through, it's like boom, plane crash, 50 car pile up on the interstate, fire zombies, and like big dudes everywhere. It's like, holy shit, okay, well, no. But in the game's defense, though, probably the best part of Resident Evil 6 is when you do like the cool dive roll, and then when you land on the ground, you can just chill there and lay on the ground and like aim your guns in different ways and look like you're driving a car on the ground, like beep beep, vroom vroom. That's pretty cool.
Resident Evil driving simulator.
Yes, there we go. Yeah. The only other game I can think of that lets you do that would be like Stranglehold, but cool mechanic. Keep that.
Oh, Stranglehold. Jesus
dude.
Christ.
Great game.
Sure.
Speaking of sure. What did you got next?
Sure, I'll go first. Okay, so I doubt you guys have played this game before. And while I wouldn't say it's a bad game, I think it's very disappointing compared to what came previous. So I assume you guys are aware of the Def Jam games.
Yes.
Or the Def Jam series, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we have, I wrote about them in the GameCube blog. So Def Jam Vendetta and Fight for New York both came out, PS2, Xbox, GameCube, and they were like fighting, wrestling kind of games developed by the Aki Corporation, who were famous for the N64 wrestling games, right? Like, weirdly enough, that's what they did after that. I can go a little bit more in detail, but maybe another time. So anyways, so they did those. Fight for New York is still like one of the most beloved games, of that era, right? So we hit the 360 era, and EA's like, oh, we're doing another Def Jam game, and it's like, oh, great, what is it? And they're like, oh, it's being done by EA Chicago, not Aki, because EA Chicago, they were doing the Fight Night series, which the Fight Night series of boxing games that were very popular at the time. I never really got into them personally, but I know they're well revered. But they had them make this follow up to it. And so, and while Def Jam Icon, it isn't a bad game, it's just very disappointing because it treats itself more just like kind of like a just average 2D fighter with some like kind of music stuff in there, because you have like, you can the music can kind of change certain like stage hazards in the game. But like the combat is trying to be like a more arcadey kind of a fight night, and there is some wrestling, but it's very downplayed. The roster is trimmed heavily from Fight for New York. Fight for New York has like a giant roster of like a who's who of like hip hop of the time, right? And then you look at this one, and there's some notable names, but not nearly as many. It could have been a bunch of them had left Def Jam by that point, because I think in the mid 2000s, Def Jam was starting to slump a little bit as a label. But it just like it just didn't hit the same way. You know what I mean? Because like seeing that they were making a new Def Jam fighting game, it's like, oh great, but we got this instead of like a proper Fight for New York sequel. So I always found the game very, very disappointing in that regard. It's maybe a 5.5 out of 10 for me, but which isn't the worst. But compared to say Def Jam Fight for New York, which is like a 9, like that game is still fantastic to this day. It's just it's a shame that happened, because then the Def Jam series completely died. Well, we did get that weird Def Jam Rap Star, which is them just trying to do like a music like karaoke, like a rap karaoke game. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do that.
That can get bad really fast, depending on the song.
Yeah, and then ever since then, or at least in the last couple years, Def Jam like to like tease on social media. They're like, "Oh, would you guys like to see like Fight for New York or Vendetta come back?" And they always, it's always for engagement, because people always go, "Oh fuck yeah," but like they're not going to bother making those games, or because they would have to get EA involved, and it's like, but who's going to develop them? Because like Aki is not. They still exist, but they're not the same company that they were. If you want a little fun fact for you, Aki went from making like some of the best wrestling games of all time to being bought by another company. They're renamed Sin Sophia, and they make games like Fashion Dreamer for the Nintendo Switch.
Nice.
They make like the Style Savvy games, like Pretty Rhythm, like all these weird like idol girly dressing fashion games. Like these are the same fucking people who made WWF No Mercy for the N64.
Excellent use of those talents.
I imagine most of those people have left by now, but still, how the mighty have fallen. But what can you do,
dude?
I actually
but Def Jam Icon, like it's not a bad game, but
I actually did get to play that like briefly because a friend had it and we were just messing around. I remember thinking the stages were like super interesting. Like I kind of like the whole like gimmicks, but like the fighting was just so meh.
Yeah. Like the Fight Night games, they definitely have their own kind of specific tech that if you get really good at them, you can be great. But I've always been terrible at boxing video games, so yeah.
I've only ever played the demo for that Def Jam on 360. Def Jam Icon, that's the name. My bad. I played the demo for it, and it's when you're fighting at that little gas station, and there's this like Hummer limo in the background, and there's like all sorts of shit happening. It's like a Mickey Mouse cartoon, like everything's moving and like moving to the beat and shit, and it's so fucking weird.
And they try to mess with color a little bit as well. Yep. Like it has some interesting ideas, but it's just not executed well. Because like Vendetta and Fight for New York are just really good wrestling games. That's all they ever needed to be, and they're great at that.
And in I forget which Def Jam game it was. Like, couldn't you also make your own fighting style, or like pick your own, like make your own moves and shit?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Fight for New York, because Fight for New York, the story mode is like you pick your own character. It's like trying to follow on from Vendetta, where you're just trying to rise through the ranks again. You like get your own like apartment and you do all that stuff. But then you go train like fighting styles from Henry fucking Rollins of all people. Where they have the different fighting styles like wrestling, kickboxing, submission, that kind of stuff, and you can earn more special moves as you keep going. Yeah, it's very in depth. Like it's borderline RPG, which for a wrestling game was fantastic. And I rented that game all the goddamn time until I eventually have I have a copy now, and I got it for a decent deal as well, which is hard to do with that game because it's very expensive.
That fucking sucks, man.
It does.
Speaking of sucking, are either of you dudes fan of the Devil May Cry series?
Oh, I think I know which game you're talking about.
I'm sure.
I think I do too. I've only played one Devil May Cry game.
Which one?
DMC, the reboot.
Okay. Which one do you think it is, Bill?
Well, I mean, it's got to be 2, right?
It is 2.
I assumed it was 2. Yeah.
It is 2. Oh man. Okay. So, yeah, I first played these games back in high school, and I fell in love because they were just so fun. I played them again. I forget how old I was, but the HD collection came out on 360, and I played them again. So, as a kid, 2 was actually kind of cool because I was like, oh, cool, there's a dedicated backflip button. You can push the circle button, and like depending on which way you have the stick facing, he'll do a backflip, a front flip, side flip. But no, as an adult, even now, like no, 2 is not. It's not that great. It's not a terrible game, but it's not that great because the first Devil May Cry, everything was just so slick, so fluid. Like everything felt good. Like all the moves you did and the way you performed them with the buttons on the controller just felt great. And then 3 is a fucking masterpiece. I'm not even going to talk about that because that game is fucking perfect. 4, I don't remember, but 2 just everything feels so stiff and so even like the animations of Dante like doing like a sword swing. It's hard to really explain properly without like seeing a side by side comparison of 1 and 2 gameplay videos. But 2 it just feels stiff. Everything just feels, what's a good word? Everything just feels like still. I don't know really how to explain it, but like in the first game, shit is just like constantly coming at you from like every which way. But in 2, shit's just always in front of you. If that makes any sense. Like usually you're swarmed with monsters and shit in like every direction. But 2, everything is just right there in front of you. You don't really ever feel rushed to beat the monsters or anything like that.
They were kind of going for that weird like openish kind of stage design.
Yeah, because there was a lot of cool unlockables you could get from just exploring and goofing around. And also fuck the tank boss. The helicopter. The helicopter boss can eat my balls. The very depth of my balls, it can eat that shit. Fuck that boss. Go ahead, Bill.
I was just gonna say, the way I kind of look at it is like, Devil May Cry 1, you can see its Resident Evil roots very apparently the more you play it.
Yeah.
I think for 2, they kind of didn't know where to go from 1, and they kind of wanted to distance it from the Resident Evil stuff, but they didn't exactly know what they wanted, so it kind of just becomes this weird, kind of lost kind of game. If that makes sense.
Yeah, Devil May Cry 2 has always been like one of the like most universally accepted like bad games I can think of. Like even from an early age when I started getting into games and learned about the Devil May Cry series, everyone was always like, "Oh, they're great," except for 2. Like that's always been a thing.
The review for the HD collection was literally 2 great games for the price of 3.
Yeah,
because you get 1 and 3.
Yeah, and to this day, like as I said, I've only played the reboot, which is also a bit of a controversial game in the series, but I figured
I think it's pretty good.
Well, I viewed it as I was gifted it, but I viewed it as, look, I haven't played any of these games, so let's just play the reboot so I don't have any of the preconceived notion of the series or what the series should be, so I can just appreciate it for what it is. And the reboot was fine.
Yeah, perfectly
fine. It was just kind of it was like a slightly above average action game.
Yep.
You know,
it plays great. It stylistically looks really nice. It just was clearly made by edgelords. Like that's really about it.
Yeah, but Devil May Cry is kind of an edgelord series in general, so not a big deal.
This is like edgelords trying to make it. I fucking love that line.
That is a great line. I know that line. It's iconic.
DMC is literally if someone was like, "This is super edgy. Let's make it even edgier.
I think the moment that upset a lot of people in DMC was when the white wig.
The wig gag, yeah.
Yeah, it's like not in a million years. No, I loved that. I was like, that's beautiful. I know a lot of people got pissed.
Well,
they're like, oh fuck you, because they were trying to be like, oh, you're ruining the Devil May Cry series, and Capcom had said they're like, this isn't replacing the series. We just wanted to do something a little different.
It was the thing is that shows how little people on the internet like have like senses of humor sometimes, because it was clearly a joke.
Yeah,
like, the joke was at the end of the game he ends up getting white hair. Like it was supposed to be a joke. Like
that's the whole So yeah. But yeah, DMC's fine. What'd you think of 5?
5's good.
I haven't played 5. I just bought it on the Capcom sale though, so I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, and, I hear 5 is very good. Like it's probably I think DMC fans say it's like the best one in the series.
It's a better playing 4 in my opinion, because I thought 4 played pretty good.
Yeah, 4 was cool with the cool like revving fucking mechanic for your sword, and then.
Yeah. Eventually I'll go through the whole series, because it's a series I would like to play the rest of the games in. So who knows? Maybe in the future we'll return and do a DMC video.
See, the funny thing about DMC 2 is it's universally considered a bad game, but it's one of those bad games that's like, it's just kind of meh. Like it's not even like interestingly bad. It's just kind of bad. Like I think that's kind of why it's so infamous.
Fucking
okay.
Compared, like, so you're playing 1, right? And the game just feels good. It looks good. It sounds good. It's actually kind of spooky in parts, because you're just like, what the fuck is happening? Why is this like knight in armor attacking me? Like, what there's like giant spider monsters and shit everywhere. And then you go to 2, and it's like there's a helicopter, there's dudes with guns, and like that's it. There's maybe like a samurai here and there, but it's like, okay, this is dumb. Then you go to 3, and it's just fucking bonkers, like off the wall and shit. It's like, yeah, 2 sucks. 2 sucks.
I just think DMC 2 is another example of, I've mentioned it before, where these long running series, the number 2 entry is the weird one, and I think that's kind of the issue with DMC 2.
Yep. Sophomore slump, as they like to call it.
Yes, there's a lot of sophomore slumps in video games. Not sure why, but it happens.
There's also a lot of sophomore bangers too, like
True.
Bayonetta 2, Borderlands 2,
Sonic 2.
Sonic 2,
oh, yeah.
Yep, that's a really, really good one. Yeah.
Those are the only 2s. Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed on the brain. I'm
Uncharted 2.
Bowser's Inside Story.
Oh, yeah.
That's technically 3. That's 3, though.
Yeah, Partners in Time is the weird 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right. My bad. Fuck that. Earthbound.
That game is worth it for that line alone. Earthbound, yeah, Mother 2.
Earthbound's a good 2.
Oh, for
sure.
All
right, Bill, you're up. Batter up.
So, speaking of Mario RPGs, worst sequels, Paper Mario Sticker Star.
I knew you were going there.
Is one of the most insulting fucking games I've ever played in my life.
You know, I thought about adding it to my list, but I was like, nah.
Okay.
I was like,
before you get too into it, I have never played this game, but feel free to spoil away, because like I want to know why this game sucks so bad. Please explain it.
It's a nightmare.
Well, let's just say this. There's nothing plot relevant to spoil, because this game is fucking boring as fuck. Like, nothing happens. You know how, like, in Paper Mario, like, one of the greatest aspects was, like, the brilliant writing, and, like, how, like, Bowser has this massive personality, and, like, everything is so interesting and entertaining. This game is literally like, we can't have any characters have personality. Get rid of all that. No original characters. Bowser, he can't talk. He just grunts the rest of the whole game. Oh, it's an RPG. Oh, but you can't actually get XP. Instead, you have to collect these stickers, but you need specific stickers to fight certain bosses. Like, you'll get stuck on a boss for hours because you don't have the right sticker, but then you find the right sticker and then you beat it in 2 seconds. So there's like no challenge at all. It's just grinding the game.
Fuck.
The story is non-existent. The enemies are bland and boring because they weren't allowed to make original stuff because reasons. There's like so many supposedly Miyamoto came in and just like made this comment like a good game doesn't need a story or something, and they just kind of deleted everything. That's a rumor.
It is a rumor, but like the idea that like Miyamoto meddled with this game, it makes too much sense because it has all of his sort of things that he said about the Mario games over the years, where like they don't have complex stories, they don't have like anything complex in terms of like mechanical depth or anything like that. Like, you know how like the Zelda games, people try to argue they're RPGs, but Miyamoto's like, I didn't want any RPG elements because that bogs the game down. You know, like all these things that like Miyamoto's gaming philosophy, like the worst aspects of it are baked into Sticker Star, I think.
Yeah.
And that's why people say that. And then that made the Paper Mario series kind of an afterthought for a while. You know, I mean, there was Color Splash, which was a little bit better. Origami King was a little bit better. We did get the Thousand Year Door remake, which hopefully that did well enough for them to just make a straight up sequel to that game. I mean, hell, Super Paper Mario I think is a solid game.
Super
for what
Paper
it
Mario
is.
has the best story in a Mario RPG, period.
It's an amazing story, but I hate in that game when I jump on Goombas and it doesn't kill them right away.
Yeah, I know,
like
it's
that.
weird.
It's some cognitive dissonance. But yeah, Sticker Star is just a monstrosity. Really, it's like, what the hell are you guys doing? It reminds me a little bit of Mario Galaxy 2. Because Mario Galaxy 2, you could argue, is just a remake of Galaxy 1 where they took out all the interesting parts.
See, but at least Galaxy 2 is fun to play.
Yeah, it's still a good game, but like you could tell he was pissed that they snuck the storybook under him. So he's like, fuck it, get rid of all that shit.
Well, it's interesting to me because like Sticker Star is so boring. Like this is a game that like it's a struggle to play through because you're so fucking bored because literally nothing happens.
Just like
there's
DMC2.
no challenge. There's no challenge at all.
But Galaxy 2 has fun levels. There's nothing in Sticker Star. That's the best aspects of Sticker Star. Is it has a great soundtrack. It looks really nice because they went for the like this papercraft look, which actually looks really nice.
No, yeah.
The 3DS. That's about it. And it's actually kind of funny because apparently around the same time when the Mario and Luigi counterpart Dream Team came out, apparently in the background they tried to enforce the same stuff on Alpha Dream when they were making Dream Team, and Alpha Dream kind of just told Nintendo to fuck off and made the game they wanted.
Yeah, Dream Team has its own issues.
Well, the Dream Team's problem is I think Dream Team like hugs nostalgia too hard. Like,
yeah, and also the game is way too long.
It's long,
way too goddamn long.
It is so tutorial heavy at the start.
Yes,
it's getting into the actual. Once you get into the game, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
but holy fuck, that game hugs nostalgia worse than fucking some like anniversary games.
Yeah, which for a Mario game is saying a lot.
Yeah, but yeah, Sticker Star is an abomination, and I never want to play that game again.
Yeah, like I've seen people try to defend it, but it's like, guys, stop. Like I could see people trying to defend, say, like DMC2, right? Where it's like, it's not that bad, and it probably isn't that bad. But, you know, Sticker Star is like that bad. It's so bad it kind of killed the mystique of the Paper Mario series, you know?
There was a good point where I thought Intelligent Systems was fucking dying until Fire Emblem Awakening came out, because like it was like just a bad game from them.
Yeah.
And I think
they were kind of struggling around that time.
Yeah, because all the Fire Emblems weren't doing well, and then Awakening just was the perfect time.
Saved by the waifus.
It's all right, because I'm saved by the waifus.
It's really not even that bad in Awakening.
Zach Morris is trash.
He is a fucking piece of shit.
It's one of my favorite YouTube series where they just detail how fucking awful he was in that whole show.
I've seen that shit, dude.
Yeah, some good stuff.
Is it your turn, Thrak?
Sure. Okay. So this is the Mega Man section. So I hope Jerry's paying attention. So
the Mega Man wall.
So in the last like year or so, I've played through the first 10 Mega Man games, like the classic
Mega
series.
Man.
Yeah, I need to like properly sit down and play Mega Man 11. So I don't have too much to say on that. But in my time playing the classic Mega Man series, I was glad I finally sat down and played them because, you know, for the most part, they're classic games. But there was one game that stuck out to me where people were like, this is either considered one of the best or one of the worst, depending on who you ask.
Oh, can I guess?
Take a wild guess.
Mega Man 8?
No.
Damn it.
But I really like Mega Man 8. Like, to me, Mega Man 8 is kind of what, like, Mega Man 9 and 10 should have been. Because, you know, 9 being 8-bit I thought was cool and all that, but when 10 was also 8-bit, I was like, that's lame. You know, and then 11 made its own art style, which I think was good. But no, the Mega Man game I'm referring to is Mega Man 7.
7. Okay, I was close. I knew there was one. Yeah. That was yeah.
Yeah, 7 is of the Mega Man games I've played, it is my least favorite by a considerable amount. I found this game to be a slog to play through, and especially coming off of like they had made the Mega Man X games by this point. And the X games were like really good evolutions from classic Mega Man. So them going back to the classic was like, oh, maybe they'll take some of the lessons from X, and then they really don't. They just make this really like just awful to play game where it's like the Mega Man is, it's like it's too zoomed in, so it's hard to judge.
His sprite is way too big.
His sprite is way too big. The jumping doesn't feel all that great. The enemy placement can be a bit garbage. Like the music isn't even that great, which for a Mega Man game is rough, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then you only have like the 4 or 5 boss masters, and
yeah, it's that they started that whole thing where they only give you some of the
oh yeah, they give you the first 4 and then they give you the next
Masters.
4 later. Yeah, which is just again really stupid, and like the Robot Master powers aren't even all that interesting either. And like especially like this is if you're coming off of Mega Man 6, right? Like the last one on the NES, which is one of my personal favorite games in the series. I love Mega Man 6 2 bits, right? Like that game is fucking cool. So to get to Mega Man 7, and it's like has way too much story. Like all this dialogue that you can't skip. And then it, of course, they're trying to make Bass in Trouble more of like prominent characters in the series. I have not played Mega Man Bass, so I have no comment on that one. But yeah, just I like playing through the Mega Man games. 7 was like noticeably the worst one for me. You know, like the one right above it is probably Mega Man 4, and the only reason Mega Man 4 is that low is just because to me it's just kind of whatever. Like it's not a bad game, but it's like the Mega Buster isn't handled well in that game, and I don't know. It's just kind of I felt like they didn't really know what they were doing. Whereas I think 5 and 6 kind of pick up the pace a little bit. I actually defend Mega Man 5. Come at me.
I'm looking at a bunch of screenshots for Mega Man 7, and you aren't fucking kidding about it being way too zoomed in. You can see like this much of the fucking stage.
It's a combination of it zoomed in and his sprite is just huge.
Yeah,
he's a big boy.
And the thing is, it doesn't really come into play until like Wily's Castle. Like Wily's Castle is ridiculously hard because of that, you know. Yeah. Whereas if it was in any other, like Mega Man 8 fixes that issue. Like I think Mega Man 8, I think it has a stronger art style, more interesting set of robot masters, and yeah, the level design is a lot better.
The only part about 8 that really sucks is the jump, slide, jump, slide.
Oh,
slide.
Yeah, those sections are not great. No, they are not.
It has the greatest voice acting ever. Dr. Wowie.
Dr. Wowie. Dr. Wowie. Seriously, those anime cutscenes for Mega Man 8 with the English dub is like all time like peak 90s English dub anime stuff.
See,
it is
the best. Amazing. The best is Mega Man X4, where they have the same anime cutscenes and they just use the same actors. So X is voiced by the same person as Mega Man, and it's so bad. But it also gave us the classic "What are we fighting for?" like scream.
What are we fighting for? Yeah. I still haven't played through the X games yet, so when I eventually finish 11, I will then do the X. I have all the X games as well. So
you can skip X8.
No X7 talk here, because I know people hate X7, but I have not played it. So
X8 is great.
No, is X7. X7 is the one everyone hates.
Is that the one that everybody hates?
Because that X7 is the one that's like 3D.
I guess I don't know numbers. Yeah. That is the one that sucks ass. Okay, yeah.
8 was the return to form.
Yeah. X7 was what they were trying to be like, oh, let's make a full 3D game. And everyone's like, this is bad.
Yeah, we'll chuck that in there too. Listeners, this one sucks as well. Mega Man
sure,
X7.
Yeah. I haven't even played it.
Well, to be fair, though, X6 is also really bad.
Yeah, basically every game after X4, people are like, we're not sure about this.
See, 5, I give a pass because it has the greatest fucking boss names ever.
Oh, the Guns N' Roses one?
Yeah. It has a boss named Duff McWhale, and that's just the greatest thing ever.
Mr. Brownstone or something fucking stupid.
Something stupid, yeah.
Well, My Michelle is a song in Mega Man X3. It's one of the stage themes.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe we'll revisit this in the future because there's lots to talk about with Mega Man.
Speaking of Brown, let's talk about Soulcalibur V for a second.
Oh man!
Story mode. That's
Well,
all I remember about that game.
It is the worst of the Soulcaliburs. I will agree, but I don't think
it's-
it's a bad game.
Oh yeah. So compared to like the first Soul Calibur, amazing. 2,
Masterpiece.
more amazing. Masturbator piece. Soul Calibur 3, not as great, but it's still pretty fucking cool.
What's weird with 3 is I hate that it was PS2 exclusive.
Yep.
So I think it was just Sony being a dick about their version being the least selling one.
Yep.
But it has like the best single player content of all the games in the series, which
the
is
fucking
like
RTS shit. Oh, it's
yeah,
so fucking
it
cool.
kind of pisses me off because I went from 2 to 4.
Yep.
Because I had 2 on the GameCube, and then when the 360 came, Soulcalibur 4 was like a big deal in my friend circle at the time.
Yeah.
So we all got it and we're playing it like crazy. And then that made me go, wait a minute, I didn't play Soulcalibur 3, and then I learned it was on PS2, and I'm like, why was this only on PS2? What the fuck?
You can also corrupt your memory card because it has a glitch with the saving system.
Oh yeah,
What
I've
the
heard about
fuck?
that. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, Soulcalibur 5. Yeah, it's the one with Ezio in it.
Yeah. So and then Soul Calibur 3, we went over that. Soul Calibur 4 was still like it wasn't as good as 2. Well, yeah, Soul Calibur 4 was good. It was pretty sweet.
It's not as good as 1 or 2, but I feel like it was it was still really good.
Yeah, story content or not story. The single player content was still good.
All that Star Wars stuff was cool because it was like
as Yoda.
Well, that was still when
and the
like
stages and shit too.
And that's still when like adding Star Wars stuff was like still special. You know, it was like it was like between the prequels and like the Disney buyout. So anything Star Wars was like, oh, it's kind of like a treat. So having Yoda and Vader and Starkiller basically to promote Force Unleashed, it was cool.
It was really cool. And then the character creation was way more because the character creation started in 3 and it was all right. And then you get to 4 and it's like the best it's ever fucking been because you had all sorts of cool unlockable costumes like Cosmos from Xenosaga. I forgot all the other ones, but that was one that really stuck out. And then you get to 5 and it's to me was pretty meh. Haven't been there since like the first game, coming from like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to 5. It's like Ezio was a cool idea, but he just wasn't all that fun to play. They're really, I don't recall the single player even really being that fun to play. Like it was.
The story was so boring.
Yeah. And like, they replaced so many characters. I mean, it made sense. They replaced so many characters with like the kids or the descendants of previous characters. Like they didn't have, oh man, they didn't have Keelik or Talim or like a bunch of the other ones. They were instead like their disciples or descendants or whatever the fuck, and that kind of sucked because Maxi was fucking awesome, but they didn't have him in there.
Yeah, like I think Soulcalibur 5. The only reason it happened was because like there was a petition for it, and Namco was like, "Oh, people still want these," and so they just kind of threw one together. Because I remember when I eventually played Soulcalibur 5, I played it. It had been out for a few years at that point, and I didn't know they had a 5. But a friend of mine's like, "Hey, let's play some Soulcal 5," and I remember I was playing it, and I'm like, "This doesn't feel as good as 4."
Yeah,
like it just doesn't play as well. Like it looks pretty solid, but as like Ezio's moveset isn't really that great.
It's very boring.
It doesn't take advantage of all of the unique stuff that he could do, and that's the thing. This was like after Revelations, so you could have easily done like all kinds of stuff with Ezio, and then which they don't take advantage of. And it felt like it played a lot more plainly than the other Soulcaliburs. Like it doesn't take as advantage of like the 3D fighting as the other ones do. Like 5 in a lot of ways just feels like a 2D fighter and not like a strong one. You know what I mean?
It felt very safe. Like it's like one of the safest fighting games I've ever played.
Yeah, which is a shame.
Yeah, and like fucking what was cool about the character creation in 4 was that you could make like you could make a character as close as to like one of the actual characters and like copy their fighting style, because you could have like you could make a character and give them Nightmare's fighting style, or like make a character and give them like Taki's fighting style or whatever, and that'd be good. What I'm getting at is like the moves in the attacks and the moves that you can do in 5 just feel really, really fucking boring, because some of the shit you could do in like even like 2 and 4 some of the moves you could do were really fucking sweet. Like all the shit that Nightmare could do, like the cool spin attacks that went all the way around the fucking screen.
Oh, yeah. Those are
grabbing
awesome.
someone and just fucking throwing their fucking face into the ground. Yeah, it just felt really, really plain in 5, and I think that's one of the ones that I've played the least.
But
except for 6, actually. I always forget about 6. Sorry.
Well, I can say I think Soulcalibur 6 is an improvement.
That's good.
Like it's not, again, it doesn't reach the heights of the earlier games, but I think coming off of 5, it is a much stronger experience, and it feels like they were putting a lot more effort to make Soulcalibur 6 more of like a, what made Soulcalibur so impressive in the first place. And it's a shame that that's still like the last one, which was like I think 2018. So hopefully I would love a Soulcalibur 7, but I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one. So
yeah.
And a little fun fact: Soulcalibur 6 it has a DLC character from Samurai Shodown.
Does it really?
Yes, it does. It has Haomaru. I probably said that name wrong.
Oh, the main character guy?
Sure.
Yes,
I don't
it is.
remember their names. Yeah, because Geralt was the big one in 6. 2B was a DLC character later. So yeah, it's a fun game. So SoCal 6 is
awesome.
Fun.
That's really cool. Before we get to our next round of picks, should we take an ad break?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Let's do it. We'll be right back.
Bird up.
Let's take a minute to thank the real sponsors of Super Pod Saga, the real MVPs, the real stars of the show, the official superstars, I guess, the patrons. Each and every one of you is a superhero, and I really mean that. It means just the world to me. But yeah, thank you a lot. It's so cool, so awesome. Let's thank all of them. Let's go. A Novel Console, Jared Schrader, Jameson Empire, Adam Phineas, Trey, Jeff Miners, Jenny E, Kevin Demo, Thrak, Mr.Quang, Matt aka Stormageddon. Every single one of you are just the best. I'm giving you a big, huge salute right now. But yeah, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the bonus content. If anybody out there listening to this wants to subscribe to the Patreon and get some cool bonus content, help out the show, help me, help Jerry, whoever, there's a link in the episode description, or just go to patreon.com/superpodsaga. It's all there. There's 2 tiers, $4 a month. All of you guys, thank you so much, and hope you enjoy the rest of the episode.
Man, the paper boy, evening TV. Everywhere you look, there's a heart, a hand to hold on to.
If you're a fan of coffee and you're looking for something different, I think we've got just the thing for you. That's Bones Coffee. Bones Coffee is not your usual coffee company. Of course, it's all sugar-free, gluten-free, all that stuff, because it's just coffee, nothing added to it. But they roast each batch of coffee beans to your order, and they've got just a bazillion different flavors to choose from. They've got your usual French vanilla, salted caramel, they've got Irish cream, of course they've got decaf, single origin coffees like Kenya, Guatemala, stuff like that, even what they call high voltage, which is extra strength, extra caffeine. But they have all sorts of other awesome kind of out of the box flavors. They've got ones like cotton candy, maple bacon, and even mint chocolate chip ice cream. And they're always coming up with new crossover flavors, like they've done a bunch for Nightmare Before Christmas, Indiana Jones, even Spider-Man, of all things. And they're also coming up with new seasonal flavors all the time. If this sounds right up your alley, feel free to use the link in our episode description and use coupon code SUPERPODSAGA at checkout to get 20% off your order. That's SUPERPODSAGA at checkout to get 20% off your order. And if you're not just in the market for coffee, you can also get some sweet mugs. They've got lots of cool shirts. They've got all sorts of different brewing equipment like French presses, stuff like that. Just head on over to bonescoffee.com, or again, use the link in our episode description and get 20% off. Get yourself a new interesting flavor and spice up your morning routine with Bones Coffee. I really hope you enjoy. I'm a really big fan of it, and I hope you find one that really hooks you. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good one.
Somebody who needs you everywhere you look. When you're lost out there.
Oh yeah. Oh man. I feel bad whipping out this this doozy of an idea without Jerry, but
You can save it. It's fine.
no, fuck it, we're doing it. Hey,
Fuck him.
so year 2024. You know, we've got vegans. There's paleo diets. There's
Equestrians.
keto diets. All these fancy diets people can go on, cutting out all sorts of shit. But there's nothing for cannibals. What about cannibals, man? Cannibals are people too. They're terrible, but they're people too. Introducing Cannibal Krunchies. For when you're a cannibal, you just can't find something good for breakfast. Cannibal Krunchies is there for you. It's the first ever cannibal breakfast cereal made for a real human. Don't ask us how we get it, but Cannibal Krunchies, everybody. They come in so many great flavors. There's Cocoa Cannibal Krunchies. There's Fruity Frooty Cannibal Crunchies. There's Frosted Cannibal Crunchies.
There's Wheaties Crunchies, where it has like the newest like cannibal athlete of the month on the cover.
Ooh, yeah, it's got Serena Williams on the front because she's a cannibal secretly.
Well, no, the mascot is obviously Armin Maivis. It has to be. Let's see how many people get that one.
What a fucking poll.
Oh man.
But Aaron, we have to know: is there a vegetarian option?
No, because they're cannibals. Cannibals don't eat vegetables.
What if it's a vegan human that we're harvesting? Does that make it vegan?
No,
he's thinking really hard, guys.
No, because they eat people. There's no part of the human body is vegan because it comes from a person.
So there's like there's the Cannibal Crunchies, but now they add in like fleshios, so you can get that kind of like fleshy taste right next to the bones, you know. and instead of using milk, they give you a gallon of like real human blood to really get that human experience in there. You know what I mean? Like, so it's more viscous.
It's like the exact opposite of a vegan. Like you want to be all in. In on the human part, like no, I don't want to use
like you're drinking their
stuff. Like
you're drinking their salty ass blood because you know they ate a lot of fast food.
Yeah, I don't want like chicken eggs. What the fuck? I want
human eggs.
Yeah, I want human eggs. You gotta go find like the reptile person to get their eggs.
Well, humans have eggs, Aaron.
You can't crack open a human egg.
We haven't tried that yet.
That's true. Yeah, we're testing that in the Cannibal Crunchies lab right now. We're testing it out.
Oops, all human eggs.
What are those like? What are they called? Bull testicles, like Illinois oysters or whatever? Do they think they have the human version of that?
There you go. That's the human egg. Yeah, you crack open a testicle on the side of a frying pan.
Ooh, yeah.
It sizzles like, ooh, okay. There you go, Bill. Great idea.
Can I get my testy sunny side up?
Can you scramble my testes?
This gets me over hard, let me tell you.
Speaking of that, yeah, you can cut off a dong, slice it in half, throw it on the old flat top, and bam, you've got yourself a little sausage sando.
The Lorena Bobbitt special.
Yeah, there we go. Well, we're talking about Cannibal Crunchies. Oh man, yeah. So
sponsored by Cannibal Corpse.
Oh, yeah. Hammer smashed face. That's one of the cereal flavors. Holy shit. And it's got cool little toys you can get in there. Like cool little cannibal type toys, like a bone saw.
Ooh, bone saw is ready.
Ready. What's another cannibal toy, guys?
Each box comes with a free copy of The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, that's good. And free, you can win a free copy. So there's like a sweepstakes where you can win like a free copy of every single Jeffrey Dahmer documentary there is out there.
No, you enter a contest, and the first prize gets one of the blue barrels that he used to put people in.
Yeah, freshly
the person
aged,
may still be in that blue barrel. We're not 100% sure. It weighs about as much as a human body. So, but we can't confirm that there's a human body in there. You know.
Yeah, we refuse to open it. We refuse to crack it open and look because that'll tamper with the seal. The proper
Yeah.
seal it's on there. It's aged like a fine wine. You know it's going to be good, like a good jar
Ooh,
of
yeah,
pickles that's
yeah.
been a good jar of preserves. Sorry,
For fermented human.
the kimchi, human kimchi,
And his name was
okay.
Kimchi. That was his name too.
Cannibal Crunchies, everybody. And there's a hamburger helper option. Cannibal
Oh,
helper.
absolutely.
Just add human meat. Can you imagine like potato stroganoff with human meat in there, dude? Like little peas and stuff.
That's Hannibal Lecter having a lazy night. He's like, Baba beat. I'm just gonna make some hamburger.
Hello, Clarice. Would you care to join me for some hamburger helper?
For some cannibal helper.
Joke's on you, Agent Starling. It's actually human in your potatoes. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to fucking go for. Cannibal Crunchies, everybody.
Soylent Green. It's people.
Hamburger helper is people.
Oh boy. That's it. That's the ad. Thanks for sponsoring the show, cannibals.
Where's my check?
Like there's some fucking like there's some subsidiary of Betty Crocker that's like for cannibals or something.
Well, like if one of the laborers is like, making too much of a stir, they just sacrifice them to the cannibal helper section.
Ooh,
It's like
there you go.
It's like that Simpsons Halloween special where they start eating the children.
Exactly.
All right, let's cannibalize some games.
All right.
I think it was Bill's turn.
Yes. So we had mentioned previously another one, Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. That game had a sequel, but a lot of people don't remember because it sucked.
Oh, I bet.
When I was doing research for this, I saw that game pop up a lot.
It's literally so Force Unleashed was really cool for the time, just because it was like a Star Wars game that was actually trying shit for once. Has some really cool psychic powers, like the whole like pulling the fucking like Star Destroyer
Psychic powers.
like towards like Force whatever.
I'm just joking.
I haven't gave a shit about Star Wars in so long, but I remember because that game came out, it was like critically acclaimed, and then people just kind of forgot about it, and then they just kind of like farted out a sequel like a couple of years later, and it just like it fell so flat, and it's like, well, I mean they completely retconned the whole like ending with like Starkiller, and they're just like, surprise, he survived, and then it's just a generic game that really has no substance. It's just one of those ones it's not even bad, it's just so disappointing, which I think is worse.
Yeah, because I remember when the first Force Unleashed came out, it was a big deal. Like they were pushing it to really be this big deal, and it was fun. Like it was I think it was like the most like Jedi feeling sort of experience we had at that point, or like the closest we had to feeling like a true Jedi kind of thing. Even though there was that Episode 3 game on PS2 that I still have a fondness for.
I played that recently. Oof.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I played it, but
Still fun for it though.
Oh yeah. But but Force Unleashed was kind of like the next step to like trying to have like a kind of like a hack and slashy kind of thing. And I think I rented it once and found it to be, it was fine. It was a bit buggy, but it was nothing like, but it didn't like get in the way of the game. And then, I remember that sequel came out and I was asking people like, oh, how's the sequel? And they're like, don't bother.
They didn't really update the gameplay at all. It's pretty much the same gameplay, but the story is so much worse. So it was just kind of like, it's like, if you like the first one, this game shits all over the first game that you love so much.
Yeah. But thankfully, if you want to play like a Jedi game, just get Jedi Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor. Like you'll be much better off.
Yeah.
I haven't played either of those Star Wars Jedi games. I've played a very little tiny amount of Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2, but they seem cool.
I recommend Fallen Order. Like, it's on
Yeah.
Game Pass, I think. And it is a stupid fun game. It's not super long either. I think it took me maybe 20 hours.
Oh, it's not
to-
bad.
And yeah, it is like a bitchin' good time. Like, it is fantastic. Like, it's a game that truly gives you like that feeling of, oh, I'm a Jedi. I can do all this cool Jedi shit. Like, this is great. You know, and Survivor just does that, but more, which is in some ways better and in some ways worse, but it's still a very high quality video game.
Nice.
So, not speaking of high quality video games, I'm going to do a personal selection, a game that I grew up with, and a game that I have a rigorous hatred for as a child, as an adult. And it's a game that I will play on the Genesis stream one of these days because it is a Sega Genesis game. It is Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures. This fucking dog shit ass game is like the bane of my existence. Now, I know Bill's played it. I could just tell.
Oh my god.
Playing it is a generous term.
Yeah.
You kind of just experience it.
Yeah, so it has amazing cover art, as you could probably see, Aaron.
Yeah, I'm
from
looking
him,
at it
like,
right now.
gliding with his just gaping ass mouth open. You know, he wants
Gaping
some cannibal,
ass mouth.
he wants some Cannibal Crunchies. You know what I mean? But yeah. So this game, right? They're like, okay, we're making a Pac-Man 2. What the hell do we do with a Pac-Man 2? And then by the way, this is 1994, right? This game came out in Japan 2 days after I was born. Fucking bad omen. And so they were like, okay, so this game is known for its mazes, like the maze style arcade gameplay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a point and click adventure game for consoles.
Although
not for PC, for fucking consoles. And on top of that, it is a dog shit point and click game because Pac-Man refuses to do shit that just simple things. Like you want him to look at something and it'll do the look, and he'll look at it. He'll turn around, he'll look at it for a second, and a lot of times he'll just shrug his shoulders and keep going.
Yeah.
And it's like, you son of a, and then
See,
it makes you mad, so you do it again, and then Pac-Man again, like whatever, and then he gets mad at you for telling
Fuck
him what
you,
to do,
Pac-Man.
despite it being a game where you're supposedly telling him what the fuck to do, when it's like, bro, you got to get the empty milk bottle off of the sign, but you can't break it with the slingshot, so you have to do it in just the right way to knock it to the ground so you can pick it up and then give it to the fucking farmer to milk the fucking cow so you can put the milk in and take it
Oh
back
my
to Miss
God.
Pac-Man
so she
so
doesn't
she can
bitch at you
properly
anymore.
breastfeed the child because she has no nipples, so it's a formula baby. So Pac Baby is a formula ass baby, and it goes off. It is fucking insane. I hate this game so much. So eventually, when I play it on stream, I'll probably play through the whole thing because it's like I need to hate beat this game.
See,
I hate it so much. It might be the most hated game of all time for me.
Point and click.
Shit.
Point and click isn't a good way to describe this game. It's more like point and suggest. Because,
Yeah, and like
Point and
the layout
suggest.
the layout of the town doesn't make any sense, and like occasionally ghosts show up and fuck shit up, which you
you
can
have to get
kind
a
of,
power pellet
That's
and then
stupid.
yeah, and when you get the power pellet, you turn to like Super Pac-Man, and he just flies from the one end of the screen to the other like
the
a few
fuck?
times, and then he stops. Yeah, it is a nightmare of a game. It is
Like,
fucking terrible.
when
hate
I
it
play this
so
game,
much.
I eventually get frustrated and then I just start pelting Pac-Man with the fucking pellets because I'm just like, fuck you.
Yeah. I guess it borrows elements from Pac-Land. I don't know if you guys have played Pac-Land.
Well, Pac-Man
that-
was actually a game. This is just a
Yeah. Well,
Just a piece of fucking shit.
yeah, Pac-Land tries to be like a side-scrolling like Pac-Man game, but it's like an auto-scroller the whole time, and
Yeah,
it just
it's-
like I played it on the Pac-Man Museum collection, and I do not like it at all.
no. It's a
Um,
very poor side scroller.
Yeah, and somehow this game is worse. So yeah, Pac-Man 2, I hate it with a undot. Oh god, that fucking
Fuck
picture.
you, Pac-Man
We
2.
wouldn't-
Seriously,
We wouldn't
like,
get a good
I-
Pac-Man style game
like-
until like World.
yeah, like I'm impressed with like all the animation and like sprite art they did for Pac-Man in this game. He's very expressive.
I'm
Like he'll start crying. Like he will break down and start crying, and then there's like bits where he'll hit like rakes. He'll get chased away from dogs.
what
You
the
know, there's
fuck?
a lot of spectacle in this game, but it is just just a goddamn dumpster fire, man. It
Oh
is
my
awful.
god.
He's also a smug little shit sometimes. Like he'll like do this.
Yes.
He'll just go
It breaks
rogue
the
on
fourth
you.
wall.
Yeah. Like occasionally there'll be a thing that's like, this is a bad idea, don't do it, and he'll just do it anyways and be like a smug asshole, and you're just like,
Oh, it's awful. The best part of the game is when you like get to the barn and there's that farmer who's sleeping and there's that bit of hay. You can use the slingshot to knock it, and it just collapses like the hay into the guy. And Pac-Man just looks at it and he's like, "The fuck was that?" Like that's the best part of the game for sure. I've never beaten this game. I know it's not super long because there was like a hang glider section and all that, but oh Jesus Christ.
I'm adding this smug Pac-Man as an emoji in the server, dude. This is fucking sick.
you also gotta add like fucking psychotic Pac-Man from the cover.
Yeah, seriously, when you get a chance, like watch a playthrough and just see all the different facial interactions of him. It's great. Or eventually when I play it on stream, I'll probably just be like, I'm just gonna beat this game. I'm gonna try my best to beat this on stream, so I never have to play it again.
Fuck Pac-Man, that smug little asshole.
It's such a dog shit game. I hate it so much.
Dude, all right, speaking of dog shit, Dragon Age 2. Oh my
yeah.
Is that
god.
game that bad? I didn't think it was that bad.
It's mediocre compared
Yeah,
to the original.
So
See, I haven't played Origins. I haven't played Inquisition. I played like 10 minutes of 2 and thought it was okay.
yeah, so I guess that's a fair thing to say, because like, yeah, if it's your only Dragon Age, it's all right. I guess in the same way that like if Devil May Cry 2 is your only Devil May Cry, it's all right.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
but Dragon Age Origins is probably like I've only played Origins 2 and Inquisition. Origins was awesome. It's really in depth. There is so much freedom and so much shit. It's basically like Baldur's Gate before Baldur's Gate, with much less.
It's the same
freedom, of
dudes,
course,
right?
but-
Or is the same dudes who did the original Baldur's Gate?
It's BioWare.
Yeah, BioWare.
Mass Effect
But-
guys.
Yeah, they did the original Baldur's Gate, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And 2.
Yeah, too. Yeah.
Coming from Origins, where you can do so much, you have so much freedom over your characters, and like how basically there's so much you can do in Origins, and then you get to 2 and you're very restricted, and then the combat is dumbed down. Like the combat in Origins was basically like Baldur's Gate. It's like turn-based strategy, or you can do like real-time strategy kind of shit. But in Dragon Age 2, it's just hack and slash with like no combos. It's just tap A over and over and over or whatever. The skill trees aren't that bad, but again, they're very fucking watered down compared to Origins, where you can evolve a mage into like 5 or 6 different kinds of like there's different like trees, or 5 different skill trees for like different kinds of magic. Like there's earth, there's like wind and lightning, there's fire and ice, there's shadow, there's blood magic, all this shit. Yeah, and 2, it's just like you're a mage and that's it. Cast a fireball, bro, that's it. Or when you're a thief, it's just like you just have 2 daggers and you just attack over and over, and like that's it. You just have more crits. It's just, I mean, I think I only played it because it was on Game Pass, or not Game Pass, Games with Gold, and I wanted some pretty easy achievements. Didn't really
I'm
enjoy
pretty
my
sure it's
time
on
with
Game Pass though,
Yeah, because it's on like EA.
because the
EA
EA Play.
Yeah, EA Play. That's what it's called. I
Yeah.
almost said EA Plus.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
So with Dragon Age 2, from what I remember, like Dragon Age 2, it came out like right when like Mass Effect was really taking off.
It was one of the
And-
first major games right after the EA buyout, because it's kind of the one where most people are like, this is where EA really kind of started meddling.
Yeah, because Origins was published by EA, but Origins is, you know, what it is. And then like 2, yeah, it was like EA meddling, and also that was like right after Mass Effect 2, and like Mass Effect was such a big thing at the time, still is now. And so like I had people describe Dragon Age 2 to me as like Dragon Age trying to be Mass Effect, but like completely missing the mark, because that's not why people liked Origins. You know, like Origins is a much different thing. And with Inquisition, wasn't it they tried to go back a little bit, but they didn't go back like enough, kind of a thing?
Pretty much. Like Inquisition was still, it was good, but it wasn't as great as Origins was. There's still a lot they definitely could have improved on, but yeah, it was better than 2 for sure.
You Do you guys know Dragon Age Inquisition was the first Game of the Year winner at the Game Awards?
Really?
Yeah. 2013, it was the very first one. And it's like, nobody talks about this game anymore.
Yeah.
So,
I remember getting a lot of fucking praise back in the day, but
oh, yeah.
2013,
I had friends who
think-
fucking loved it when it was like brand new.
yeah, it
But yeah, it just it didn't stick, I guess, because the same year Dragon Age Inquisition won Game of the Year, its competition was Bayonetta 2, Dark Souls 2, Hearthstone, and Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor.
I'm pretty sure
Literally
those
any-
are better games.
Literally all of those games, there were better choices. And I'm not even a Hearthstone guy, but I wouldn't have been mad at it.
Yeah, even like Bayonetta 2 arguably probably should have won that. But
Yeah. Like even Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, like that game's aged pretty well.
that game's still fun as shit to play, man. Just jumping
is
off of
cool.
towers and stabbing dudes in the face.
Yeah, but that intro is what a crazy intro that game has. It's awesome.
You guys got any more, or was that it for you?
I get another one I can add because it
I
kind
have,
of actually.
I have two more.
Okay, I have one more.
Okay.
Well, this one kind of tracks with Aaron's last pick, but speaking of BioWare,
Ooh,
Mass Effect Andromeda.
yes, yes, with the wonky
Oh,
walking.
Andromeda.
Literally, like that. They thankfully patched most of it, but my god, that first month of playing that game, like the entire time I was playing, I was like, "What's wrong with your face?"
Oh yeah, facial
Yeah,
animations and like the wonky, like weird, like the bottom half of your
Animation.
body, very like, yeah.
It's. I understand what happened because EA at one point randomly was just like doing EA things and was like, every game that's made by our studios must use the Frostbite engine going forward.
Yep. It was peak Frostbite engine era. Yeah.
Which, to be fair, the Frostbite engine is a great engine for first-person shooters.
Yeah, like they were even trying to get Madden on Frostbite, and like that was an era where like Madden was like really broken.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah,
they're trying to
that'll
get him on
totally
the
make it
fucking
better.
Frostbite engine.
So I'll give BioWare credit. The fact that they got it, well, this wasn't even the main BioWare. This was like a different subset of BioWare at the time, apparently. But
it was not the Edmonton team that did the original Mass Effects. It was BioWare Montreal, I think,
I swear to
which
God,
is the home of the B Studio, apparently.
except for Ubisoft, for some reason. Ubisoft.
Yeah, but like Warner Brothers Montreal, who did Arkham Origins, you know, that was the B team.
Yeah. But yeah, this game, like, I'll give them credit. They had to redesign the freaking Frostbite engine to make a third-person game, and I will say the gunplay
Jesus Christ.
is phenomenal. Like, it is like arguably the best playing Mass Effect game in terms of like combat, but like everything connected to it is just so mediocre. Like the story is just uninteresting. I kind of like the whole idea that both versions of Ryder appear in the story. They made them like siblings, I think it was.
Yeah, they're like twins or something
twins
stupid.
or something like that. Which I'm like, that's cool. At least like they're both there. But the story is just kind of unremarkable. The worlds are kind of dull and boring. The graphics are jank and like all over the place. It's just not a fun game. It's like, it's very disappointing, especially because it was like super hyped up after 3. They were like, oh, we're going to a new universe. It's going to be the Andromeda universe now, completely separate from the original series.
Yeah, because I believe Andromeda is referenced in 3, like in like the lore or whatever. They talk about like, they're like, look, in case we get wiped out by the Reapers, we're gonna send like a bunch of people to Andromeda to try to keep the human race going, and Andromeda follows them, which is like an interesting concept. But I think the issue with Andromeda was like Mass Effects 1 through 3 was such a heavy story.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
And then Andromeda is much lighter in tone, and it just kind of clashed with everything. But you can also tell the writing is not as good.
Oh yeah,
in this
like
game as the other ones, because Mass Effect 1 through 3, the writing is incredible.
Yeah, the Ryder,
most of the way through.
The Ryder twins are just not interesting protagonists at all. Like Shepard was both like, he was a cardboard box that you would mold, but he also had personality at times.
Yeah, Shepard somehow walks that fine line of being the like avatar for the player character, but also being its own character as well.
Yeah, because you can make him like, with the dialogue choices, you could like make him like the character you wanted him to be. So you could make him either be like a fucking asshole or like this
Yeah.
like smug, like sarcastic douche.
Yeah, punching the reporter.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
hell yeah.
always punched her.
You
She
would-
was sucked.
Always
Yep.
shoot Ashley. Fuck
Space
that bitch.
space
Yeah,
racist.
Space bitch.
I love her character where she's like, yeah, I've seen all this other like Cosmos stuff and basically proof that God isn't real, but I still believe in him.
So,
Of course.
Like, what the fuck, dude?
I mean, she is the space racist, but to be fair, like every race in that game is racist. Like,
Yeah, oh
that's
yeah,
true
yeah.
at the start.
For sure. There's a lot of conflict with the species.
She does.
It's just
develop.
Ashley's kind of like funny in that. And
I know.
yeah. Like my playthrough of it, I actually kept her going because I thought she was the more interesting
Well,
character.
I
than,
kept her-
What, Caden's the other guy?
He's interesting in 3, but no one kept him around for 3.
Yeah, well, because I think BioWare kind of assumed everyone would keep Ashley, so that when they kept Caden, they're like, "Oh, we actually have to do something with this guy," because Ashley has the more defined personality of the two.
Yeah.
And her story arc is actually like pretty interesting. Like it has a pretty good conclusion in 3, I think.
See, the thing with
Wow,
Ashley
2
is
games later, I'm not racist anymore.
Well,
Wow.
she actually goes
Waka.
through development. She does actually go through development over the course of the series, like if you actually follow her story, but a lot of people didn't. So that's kind of why.
Yeah, like people
Not
do
like
challenge
Waka.
her on her beliefs and all that stuff, you know.
Well, yeah, and by the end, she's
Fucking
like,
Waka.
she's basically part of the crew at that point. Her portrayal in 2 is still questionable, but granted, Cadence is as well.
Yeah, though I feel like neither one of those characters were a focal point in 2. You know, they
I
felt
do-
very much in the
yeah.
background.
Well, they're not playable, and they just kind of they appear on that one cutscene where they just get pissy and go away.
Yeah. 2 was all about the elusive man.
Well, because it's
Which is
funny
awesome.
because if you romanced Ashley in 1 and you go to 2, her photo will just be sitting on Shepard's desk the entire game. But if you cheat on her, he just knocks the frame over.
Hell yeah.
I'm just like, wow.
Tips it down.
Like your pagan Garrus, and then it just kind of gets thrown away. In that.
Fuck yeah.
Who wouldn't? Garrus is great.
He's a cool guy, yeah.
Yeah, but
Anyway, Andromeda.
Yeah, Andromeda. See, there's nothing to say about Andromeda because it's just so unremarkable compared to the original trilogy.
I need to sit down and like play through it like properly because I played all the other Mass Effects and I love them to death. So
It's
I
just so
I just need to see
disappointing.
the deal with Andromeda.
It's on Game Pass.
I have a physical over here.
Oh.
I found it sealed for like $5.
I pre-ordered
Fuck
that bitch. I was so disappointed.
Like it's an interesting concept, you
It
know,
is.
like
It was-
following the Andromeda team. So, but
It was just so
Yeah.
poorly executed that we'll never see what happens next.
well, they are working on another Mass Effect, so we'll see
True.
what they do.
Speaking of disappointment, wait. No, is it? No, it's Thrak's turn, right? Or is it mine?
No, it's Thrak's turn.
Okay. Yeah, speaking of disappointments.
So
go ahead.
okay, so this one is more of a recent pick. Like actually, I think I played and beat this game this year finally. And yeah, like compared to the other games in the series, like again, it's not a bad game, but it doesn't really hold up. And that's No More Heroes 3.
Oh.
Like 1 is such a unique game, you know, like it hasn't aged the best, but it has a lot of charm to it that it's still worth playing to this day. And No More Heroes 2 is fucking awesome. Like it fixes all the little issues No More Heroes 1 has, and it's like probably the most mechanically sound Suda game
Oh yeah.
of like all of them. Because Suda is known for his like wacky ideas and crazy aesthetics, but like his games aren't always mechanically the most solid thing in the world. But they can make up for it, right? Like Killer 7 makes up for it. Lollipop Chainsaw makes up for it. You know, Shadows of the Damned does not make up for it.
Yeah.
That's a very average game. But No More Heroes 2 is like kind of the best of both worlds, where the combat is so much better, but they keep all of the charm with Travis and all the other characters.
And they get
right?
rid of the freaking open world that was useless.
Yeah, it's just a
Thank
menu,
God.
and like and even the side jobs in 2 are great.
Yeah, no more
Like, it was like-
coconut
it was-
bullshit.
I was just pumping gas the whole time because it was the easiest way to make a shit ton of money in
Mowing
the
the
first game.
lawn.
Just pump.
Just-
Mowing the lawn is fun, kind of.
It was fun the
Um,
first time, but then you realize the fucking it's
Yeah,
a
I
pain
think
in
I
the
do it
ass.
like a million times. Yeah, and then but like pumping the gas was the easiest one to do. So, but anyways, No More Heroes 3, Like it gets announced, it's a big deal. I'm hype as hell for it, right? I get it for Switch, but I don't play it until I get it for Xbox because I think I got it I downloaded on Game Pass to play through it. And yeah, it feels like Suda listened to the fans a little too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it brought back the open world, but like tenfold. So it's like this giant ass open world where you have to constantly travel through all these different sections, which it did not need to do at all. It brings back the side jobs, but you don't have to grind on them as much. And basically it's just like, oh, just mow a couple lawns here and there and then you're fine. You know, it tries to keep the focus on the combat, and the combat is okay. Like in some ways it's better than the other ones, but it doesn't have the charm of like the Wii, you know, swinging the Wiimote, or if
Whacking
you're playing
off
the
to
remasters.
recharge.
Yeah. Which is always great. Or say in like the remasters on Switch where you use like the right stick or whatever. Here it's just more kind of like, oh, light attack, heavy attack, but it's not as mechanically in depth as compared to some of the other games, I think. And the boss battles are fine, but they're not as memorable. You know, you're not, you know, fighting a baseball guy in the stadium.
Nothing will ever beat Destroy Man.
Destroy Man is incredible, and like the history you have with him. He appears in 3 actually. But yeah, like No More Heroes 3, it's fine, but it just didn't really hit as well as it should have, I think. And so for it to be sort of the end of the series is a little disappointing, but I mean, Suda has teased doing another No More Heroes. Of course he has.
No More Heroes 1 still has the greatest save screen ever.
That's a pretty good save.
Is that when you're taking a shit?
Just
or whatever?
Travis taking a shit.
To be fair, that's all of them. Like
True.
1, 2, and 3, all of them are just you taking a dump. And 3 kind of messes with that a little bit, which is cool. But like 3 has some cool things about it. But yeah, like don't play it on Switch. It doesn't perform very well on Switch. So
Yeah.
play it on anywhere else. It's a game that you can tell it's struggling to kind of run on that system. So if you have a PS5 or an Xbox, just play it on that. You're better off.
I'm happy it happened, but I get it.
Yeah, same. And then that Lollipop Chainsaw remaster is not good. Not good at all.
Speaking of not good, I've got another not good 3. It's my kind of last one that just popped in my head, actually. Borderlands 3. Holy shit. So
I've never touched Borderlands.
Oh man. Okay. So Borderlands 1, Jesus Christ, is it's fine. It's totally fine. Back in the day, there was the only Borderlands out. It was fine. It's pretty good. Then you get to 2. 2 is still the best one in the whole fucking series. Like the best classes, the best skill trees, the best story, the best main villain, best everything, man. Introduction of Claptrap, holy shit. Even like the pre-sequel, which was supposed to take place, before 2 and like after 1. It was alright. Like it wasn't as good as 2, but it was alright. But then you get to 3, and we waited so fucking long for 3. And it's just one of those cases where it's like, dude, 2 is just so good. There's no possible way to top that. And of course,
7 years.
Yeah, man.
Shit.
That 3 was just like the classes were cool on paper, but they didn't play really all that well. It was just kind of the same shit, but like reskinned almost, because like there was the one class where I forget what the name of it was, but he had like a little like robo turret thing that he could send out, and it was basically just like the hunter from the first game, where it just had like a fucking eagle that swooped down and attacked people, or even like the fucking commando where you just throw out a turret. It's basically just like the same shit, but kind of reskinned. The main villains weren't very interesting. They're just like 2 fucking streamer punks that are annoying and fucking stupid. Nothing will ever fucking top Handsome Jack. He's just snarky and rude and fucking arrogant, and yeah, everything about 3 was just like, it played well, it looked great, just wasn't interesting. It wasn't interesting at all. Such a bummer, man.
It was one of those, like, it had been 7 years since the last one, that maybe you were just hoping that it would be a lot more than what it ended up being.
Yeah, because like, even after 3, they came out with I forget what the name of it was. It was a Tiny Tina spin-off kind of thing.
Yeah, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which I've heard very mixed opinions on.
That
it's
one
kind of I think a similar situation would kind of be like Sly 4, Like, it's a fine
Yeah.
game, but like it just took so long to come out, and by the time it did, it was kind of like it's it's a good game, but it's not the Sucker Punch classics by any means.
Well, at least with Sly 4, it was a completely different dev. So I think people were
True.
going in with like tempered expectations because it was what Sansru Games.
They did a
made
great
that
job
one.
for what
Oh,
it
yeah.
was. But
Yeah, because they had handled the what was it, the PS3 ports of
the
1 through
HD
3,
set,
and
yeah.
and those are a very good way to play those games. So that's when Sony's like, all right, you can make a fourth one, and like the idea of like with Sly 4, I mean, we could throw it in here if you want. Like the idea of it being like you go through time to find all the different members of the Sly family. Like it's a great concept, but you can tell like Sanzaru were not really up for the task
Yeah,
the way like a
like-
Sucker Punch were. Like Sucker Punch doing this game probably would have been awesome.
I don't really want to put it on the list just because I don't think it's a bad sequel. It's just it just wasn't Sucker Punch's same level of quality.
Yeah.
My last one,
Fair
I'm
enough.
gonna lightning round this one out. Bubsy 3D.
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna say another one like Jack and Daxter: The Lost Frontier, fuck that game.
Sonic 06.
That was,
There we go.
No, that game's a masterpiece. What are you guys talking about?
Sonic 06.
Uh,
No, fuck that game.
Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. That's another one I had.
Oh, that's such a weird one because if it wasn't a Banjo-Kazooie game, it'd be fucking awesome.
See,
but,
I
like,
always say like I love any game that lets me make fucking abominations that you can drive
Yeah.
around.
It's
dude,
just like I wanted another Banjo platformer, and I think
Yeah.
if this game didn't have the car shit, it would actually be pretty good. But it just gets way too much into the car stuff for me.
So
You
you know, I was looking on all those lists just for some like inspiration. You know, the one game I saw on every list that I was like, I get why it's there, but I don't agree.
What?
Duke Nukem Forever. It's not
Yeah.
it's not a good game, but as a sequel to Duke Nukem 3D, it's absolutely perfect. Like it is it is
Yeah.
exactly what they promised.
True, yeah. There's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5.
Oh yeah, that
That game is
the game was broken as
disgusting.
fuck.
that
Wasn't
game
it?
is
That game-
unplayable. Like
that game
literally,
is
you can't play it
disgusting.
anymore.
Bomberman Act Zero,
Fuck
Tomb
that
Raider
game,
Angel
too.
of Darkness.
Yeah, broken
Um,
is Spyro 4. Well, the original Spyro 4.
Enter the Dragonfly.
Yeah.
Ugh. For some reason, I see Crackdown 3. I'm like, that's not a bad game.
If anything, Crackdown 2 would have been in like the shitty one in the series.
Yeah. People shit on Crackdown 3. I don't get why. I think it was just like a timing thing when that game came out.
Probably.
People wanted a little bit more.
But Castlevania Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2, that
There
one
you go.
was pretty
I've heard-
poopy.
I've heard some people prefer that one over the first one, so I don't know.
Yeah. I saw like Dead Space 3, and I'm like, Dead Space 3 isn't
It's not that bad.
terrible, but
It's not as bad as Devil May Cry 2.
yeah.
SimCity 2013 was pretty bad.
Yeah.
That was disappointing.
Oof. Yeah. Let's see. Just looking through. No. For some reason, I saw a lot of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, but like the old
first-
Modern Warfare,
the old
like
one.
the original Modern Warfare 3.
I thought that
And
was
it's like,
fine.
and it's like, it is the weakest of the trilogy, sure, but it's not terrible. Like it was still in the peak era of Call of Duty. Like to me, once we hit Black Ops 2, that's when things start going
Yeah.
downhill.
What are we at now? Like Black Ops 27?
Black Ops 6.
Fuck, I don't know.
Close
Holy
enough.
shit.
Yeah, I'm curious of that game's campaign because they're really putting an emphasis on it for the first time in a long time. But I gotta play through all the other ones first.
Yeah.
so.
That is it for me, though. What about you guys?
That's about it.
Yeah. I mean, we could probably find more, but we'll be here all night.
Like every
Yeah.
Sonic game after Adventure 2, like just ever, according to
I-
fan base, because they
Except
they-
for Generations. God damn it. Generations
Yeah,
was good.
Generations is great.
Colors is great.
Yeah.
Half-
Perfect Dark Zero.
Oh,
That's a bad
yeah.
sequel.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
prequel, actually, but still, fuck it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Still
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
I'll never get over, like, it's a first-person shooter, but you take cover in third person?
Well,
No,
there were
I don't-
games
I don't
that
like
did
that.
that better. Like if you played the Rainbow Six Vegas games,
Yeah, Rainbow Six
they
Vegas.
handled that very well, and that's actually what got me to play that game because I was like, oh, that's really cool, and I fell in love with those games and played thousands of hours in both
Hell yeah.
on Xbox Live.
Hell yeah. Well, listeners, that's it. That's the end of the episode today. Thank you, Bill and Thrak, for coming on. Go ahead one more time for the listeners. Plug all your stuff. Plug away.
Well, you can find me on all the GNC shows: Gaming Collecting, 3DO Experience, Geek Addicts. Same stuff before, like gaming, anime, pop culture, 3DO. A lot of fun stuff over there. You can find me lurking around most of the Discord servers, so I'm always around. And you can find all of our links at linktr.ee/Thebarberwhogames or directly at the Superpod Network, superpodnetwork.com.
Yeah.
You can find me there. If you want to talk to me on Twitter, I'm at Thrak94. I'm at Twitch and YouTube at Thrak94 as well, if you want to see the streams or the VODs for the streams. So, and maybe in the future, I'll do some original YouTube content. I have some ideas for it.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah. And you can find me hanging out at your local Red Lobster. I'll be there eating lobster all night.
Did
lobster
that go out of
again.
business?
eating your
No,
Crunchios in the
they
Red Lobster booth.
They almost did, but Flavor Flav loaned him a whole bunch of money to keep him in business because it's his favorite restaurant.
That is what. Yeah, they filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy
because they lost so much money on endless shrimp.
Yeah, because they thought that would save them, but they've been bought by an equity firm, so we'll see what happens with them.
See, those just
please, Flavor Flav, help us, our Lord and Savior.
Those just flat out don't exist up in New England because we have fucking a seafood.
You have
place
real fucking seafood
on every fucking street.
Yeah,
they're everywhere.
Yeah, we're in the Midwest. We need that shit.
It's like the McDonald's of seafood places.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Anyway, listeners, buy me a lobster. Thank you so much for listening. If you listened up to this point, I love you. Also, buy me more lobster. I don't know. I'm really tired. I need to go to bed.
Make sure you buy some Kannibal Crunchies because we get kickback.
Yeah. Please buy Kannibal Crunchies. Use coupon code SuperPodSaga69420 exclamation point at gmail.com. That's my password.
Marvin Mivas approves.
Thank you, Bones.
Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.